how the central bank was formed and so on, would have also read in several publications that if John Maynard Keynes were to have his plan go through, and I credit this particular source to the Mint newspaper, which had written a piece sometime ago, years ago, how SBI would have been the Central Bank of India if only John Maynard Keynes' plans had worked through. But no, the plans were slightly altered. So the Imperial Bank was formed with the three banks of the Presidency, Kolkata, then Calcutta, Madras and Bombay. And this building, not this, the building which we are commemorating, the first occupant of the bank of that building was, of course, Bank of Bombay. But after the 1920 Act and 21, when Imperial Bank was formed, this building was occupied by the Imperial Bank. For a minute, let's stay in 1920. I just want to take us through a few realities of then. And this particular building, about which many expressions have been used, I strongly believe it was a standing witness to so much that India's banking sector saw through. Had 60 branches in India at that time, 1920. And exchange banks, as they were called, banks whose presence were in India, but whose headquarters were outside, had about 45 branches all over India. And some joint stock banks, joint stock companies themselves and their branches were a total of 150 branches. So nothing more than 250 branches all over the country in 1920s, and largely present in 150 cities of the country. And the 150 cities were those which had more than 10,000 population. So that was the spread of banking at that time. And the Imperial Bank of India Act, as I said a minute ago, was passed in 1920. I want to mention this because I refer to the article which appeared in the Mint newspaper and say that there was a phase when today's State Bank of India did have, after the 1920 Imperial Bank Act was passed in the Indian Legislative Council, did a full commercial bank's function. It carried out all the functions of a commercial bank, but had two specific functions which were normally exclusively the domain of the central bank, which is the Reserve Bank subsequently, but any central bank of any country. It was the banker to the government during that phase and banker to the banks.